So I got all dressed up to go to the store, but then found out for reasons I can't go, so I decided to make a video instead with this energy that I have. And I'm sitting out here on a balcony garden, and I live in a pretty nice, spacious apartment, and it doesn't have a lot of room on the outside to grow like a whole yard of carrots or something like that, but it still has a space to grow a small amount. And I really start to feel grateful about how you can do a lot with a little bit of space if you have the right mindset. And I think it has to do with my dad being a really good gardener, just being taught from generations. And he's growing this mint plant, and I can use it in my teas and things, and I think that I really underestimate how much I could do with a little bit of space if I want to. And I think it's really easy in this world to get lost into thinking that it has to be a certain way, it has to be a certain depth or quality of the monetary aspect, including like what is your living situation. Like, my living situation could always be better. I could always have a bigger property. My property isn't enough. My property needs to be bigger for me to adequately expand my own interesting side, my expressive side, my part of me that wants to be let out and let loose in a safe place that I protect and maintain, because that's a home, and that's what a house is for maintaining a small sanctuary space, a small haven that you can go into and not go out of, or it is a place where you can retreat. It is the Four of Swords. It is a place where you can have that respite and you can enjoy meals, right? You often think of cooking when you think of the home. You want to do things that bring life in, like a lit fire or like a bonfire or hearth is what I'm trying to say. You want to do things that bring light into the home because it is indoors, which means it is dark by itself without you doing anything, including paying electricity bills, doing anything to bring light into this place, which would otherwise be dark. And this is so that you can sleep there, you can rest there, you can eat there, you can commune there with close people and associates, or with other forms of communication like books, letters. You can write letters, other forms of meeting, like making a piece of artwork, or consuming any sort of media and doing it within a place where you can think about the media you're consuming and think about what it is you want to consume in the future and how you want it to shape your overall feelings about the world. Because nobody's going out without a plan these days. Nobody is going out without some set of influences that they specifically are using in a way that is repetitive so that they can rely on it in a way that they can rely on. Nobody's going out without a specific set of influences that they're carrying out, and that has little to do with how big your house is or how rich you are, how much money you have in the bank. It has more to do with what you are doing to protect this small sanct space. Sometimes you hear safe spaces being talked about, sanct space being considered as something that is very difficult, or questions coming up like, is there any safe spaces? Are there safe spaces? Is any space safe outside of your home or the places that you are paying for, the places that you are putting the most of your money into. When you start considering this and realizing how to maintain a safe space, issues stop becoming about how many figures and how many numbers are there, how many square feet is this place. It starts becoming about how am I fusing my interests, how am I controlling the flow of money so that it is settling in places that are balanced over my various interests and needs to have a safe place and to have a place that I know will be respectful. Because there are plenty of reasons to get adequate sleep every night and at an early time, preferably. This is a sign of good health. And even if you are going through the most maelstrom of weird happenings in your life and a lot of confusion, and things are seemingly like you think you're gonna lose it, like you're just in that, you think you might lose it, you think you just might lose it. But if you keep following these very simple but difficult to maintain rules, you keep following the rules, that you get adequate rest, you get adequate food, you get adequate sleep, and on an early time, that will be the basis or foundation, that will be the place that you go into when you travel inward to release away all the things that may not be necessary that you are carrying around with you during the days, during the weeks, during the monthly cycles. I think for a lot of us, especially in these days, like, we don't know if we'll be able to own a house, or like these are rumors, and so it may be decades long. Some people get old houses, some people like to live on a more motile basis. You might change houses several times in your lifetime. The point is keeping to that cycle. You have a foundation if you hold on to your point here, to keep returning and have that restful getaway, because it's not possible to continue a life cycle without a place to erode away the buildup of just unnecessary thoughts and unnecessary responsibilities that you may have been taking on over the course of the day. And that would be less than useful to you carrying on. That would be less than, and right now as I'm saying this, this is currently in the season of Cancer, which is ruling the moon, the home. For anyone who's interested in that aspect, all of these things, how do you reconcile with feelings of unsafeness in your own home? Like, that's, I think, one of the most saddest things I've ever heard in my life, and yet I know it is a problem, maybe one that is timeless, a problem where a person might become so stripped away of their basic foundation that even in their own physical house, or the place where they're assigned to, their home, the place where people will expect you to be, like if they wanted to find you, at the right hour, many hours maybe, even there, losing the feeling that you can be there and not feel inundated by thoughts and expectations. Even there, you're feeling unsafe and uneasy and discomforted, scared, maybe terrified if you're in an emergency state, or things like this. I think that this is one of the saddest things but it happens. One of the saddest things that is a reality for many people at some point in their lives, and maybe some people more than others. Maybe for people who have a slightly more frenetic mode of appreciating the world, maybe some people, who knows? These reasons are nature versus nurture. These reasons are far and broad, but they are real. And it's one of the most saddest things, I think, because we're at the point in time where we all can pay for everyone to have a home, but still, like, there's so much homelessness, and there's so much mental illness, there's so much anxiety, and the cure is there. There is a cure. It may not look like the cure-all, a panacea medicine, but it is something that will work, guaranteed, every time, if you listen to it. Is holding on to that basic last thread of healthy behavioral decisions, such as sleeping on time, eating food, eating healthier when you realize you started to eat unhealthy things. You probably start to feel it in your body when you don't get fresh air and sunlight, get exercise every day, get fresh oxygen circulation. This isn't pseudoscience. You will start to feel the effects very quickly, and they'll build up over time. And it might end up, for some people, into feeling uneasy within your own house, or other things, other problems. The basic of holding a home is to protect the sanctity of it. Whatever it is unique to you, and that's why it's so good to commune with other people, meet with other people, visit each other. You see that everyone might have different things in their house than they keep in their outer spaces that they inhabit, or things that they don't show about themselves in outer spaces. The basic tenet of housekeeping and homekeeping is building something to protect and then maintaining that.